So, women's sports merch is a $4 billion market. $4 billion with a B dollar market. But supply is not meeting the demand. And it is very clear that this is the case. Again, Caitlin Clark jerseys sell out in 10 minutes because they just don't have the supply. They don't realize that her jersey was going... Her jersey is going to sell better than the rookie Wembanyama jersey. And it was hard to get a Wemby jersey at the start. Her jersey was going to sell more than the number one pick in the WNBA. Or in the NBA. It would. It was 100% going to sell more. And that was a fact. It was never going to not sell, but the WNBA did not prepare. They should have been preparing from the day, Nike should have been preparing from the day, the second that it was announced that they were going to, that she was coming out, they should have started preparing. They should have started making those Indiana Fever jerseys. They should have started making them, especially those red ones. Those red ones really would have sold because the team barely ever loses wearing them. So, yeah, they definitely would have sold. But you can see, she is getting a lot of the boom. It's boomed to 4 billion. And a lot of the people are saying, a lot of people are saying, the reason why it's booming is purely just Caitlin Clark. But before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 22,750 by the end of the day. Right now, we are 94 off. If we could do that, that would be incredible. But, yeah, so, with Caitlin Clark, it is an interesting one because as much as people want to say, oh, all these other people are responsible for growth, all these other people are responsible for stuff. No, Caitlin Clark is, she is what's going to bring this sport forward. Again, a lot of people push the NBA. A lot of people were the reasons why the NBA grew initially. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird brought it to another level, and Jordan brought it to another level, and then it kind of plateaued. As great as Kobe and LeBron were, it never hit the heights of Jordan. And I think the only time you could say it was even close to hitting the heights of the Jordan boom was the Steph Curry boom. And now you've got the Caitlin Clark boom. So, an hour after Caitlin Clark was drafted, Fanatics sold out of nearly every size of her jersey. An hour after. As women's sports continue to hit new heights in revenue and ongoing investments, fans of all genders clamoring up to snap up merch, the women's sports apparel market has soared to an estimated $4 billion in the US alone. According to data from Klarna, a fan intelligence sports innovation lab, nearly 80% of respondents reported they would buy more women's sports merchandise if they could, but sufficient options doesn't exist, especially in offline retailers. Hey, I'm telling you guys, if you go to NBA store, Europe, if you want to buy a jersey in Europe, I'm pretty sure they've sold out of all jerseys other than Sabrina Ionescu. And they have never obviously had any of them. So, I'm going to just type in WNBA. And no, you can get 2 jerseys. Since the start of the season, you can get a Sabrina jersey that is about to sell out. Sabrina jerseys are about to sell out. They're only available in size large. And there are only 5 left. There are only 5 Sabrina Ionescu jerseys left. And this is all you can get in Europe, by the way. This is the only place you can get WNBA gear in Europe. There is 5 Sabrina Ionescu jerseys. And then you can buy a Satu Sabally jersey where sizes smaller than large, which are the size that most women would wear. You could only get 2 in small or 5 in medium. And Satu hasn't even played a game of basketball this year. She hasn't even played this season. And her jersey's almost sold out. They've almost sold out of a jersey of a player who hasn't played because it's the only option. But it is mad. A study between WASP and ESPN from October 23 showed women claimed 15% of all sports coverage in 22, up more than triple than 5 years earlier. Now, a star such as Caitlin Clark helped propel WNBA viewership and attendance into record growth, including increasing fans who are people of color, and new network deals mean additional airtime for women's games, more eyeballs on women's sports, especially in the era of expanding streaming and social media. And that is just the truth. And look. Does anyone ever think that the WNBA is ever going to take over the NBA slot? No. But what has happened is, for the first time ever, fans are now watching during the offseason. Fans would rather watch the WNBA than watch the NBA Summer League. For the first time. First of all, again, I've always said this, the best thing about this WNBA season is that it correlates with a bad NBA rookie class. I mean, Reed Shepherd's hooping, but come on, he's still Reed Shepherd. My Reed Shepherd take might end so badly. But you could see, and it's not just in basketball. If you guys don't know about women's football or women's soccer, Like the Euros, when the Lionesses won the Euros, they nearly filled the place. When Ireland played we played in the Soccer World Cup and the women's in Australia, and nearly filled up the place. There was an El Clasico that had 80,000 people in attendance between Real Madrid and Barcelona women's sports. Like, people don't realize sports is entertainment. And for people being like, oh, they're just not as good as the men, what people are realizing is that a lot of the fun of sports is getting behind your favorite players and getting behind your favorite teams, regardless of the actual level of the sport. Because if the only thing that mattered was the NBA, no one would watch college ball. No one would watch college ball because, again, when you get into March Madness, after about the second round, almost all the one and done prospects are gone. Almost all the best prospects are gone after the second round because most of them are one and done, and especially with now the 50-year seniors, the older teams are just dominating, other than UConn. That's a different story. So obviously that's happening, and obviously March Madness has more viewers than any NBA game regular season because the games matter more. So people getting behind their colleges, their favorite players, their local colleges, and everyone has a local college, which is why that's so big. And now you're seeing it in women's sports, especially in countries where maybe the men's sports haven't had the success that they'd like, and their women's are doing better. And like you can see it in Ireland basketball. Our men's team's getting better. Look, CJ Fulton for Charleston's a serious player. 20s lads just won today against the Dutch, which is a huge win for them. But like our 20s girls finished 5th in the European B Championships, have competed in the European A Championships at multiple occasions, and you're looking at a women's team where we've got a player now who's gone off to play in top tier in Spain, Claire Melia, who is without question has that potential if she really knuckles down, like if she really like pushed for it to be a WNBA level player. And when you can get behind your players and when you can get behind your favorite players and favorite teams in sports, it doesn't necessarily matter about the level of sports. You're going to be interested in it. Like, I'll use the Philippines as an example. Like, I was in like a remote rural town in the Philippines last year, and they had this like outdoor basketball court with a roof. There was about 300 people in attendance watching this game of basketball being played, and not one player on the court could play basketball. They were all garbage. The centers were 5'11" guys who played ball like Shaq and shot free throws like Shaq. It was the worst level of basketball I've ever seen. But everybody in attendance was going berserk for every basket scored because it was their local like area against another local area, and that's all that mattered. So, and that is the one thing I will always say about this. And you can see like there's obviously other situations, but it has been a lot of the credit for this growth has been put down to Caitlin Clark, and there's a reason why. She is the face now she's not only the face of the WNBA, she's the face of women's sports. She's basically now in a position where you're just like, okay. She is, as far as individual sports people right now, in the United States, I'm trying to think how many players individually, if they release something, would have the pull of Caitlin Clark. And this reminds me of back when Under Armour in 2015 overtook, was it Adidas as the second biggest sport brand in America, purely off the hype of Steph Curry. And that's why I think Nike have really, really dropped the ball with Caitlin Clark. They've really dropped the ball not making her shoe straight away. I think they genuinely should have just thrown, whatever they have planned for the GT Cut 4, scrap it and call that the Clark 1, released it last year. Or released at the same time as GT Cut 3s. Screw the technology, screw everything they've done, screw the price point. Just call it the CC ones. Whatever your new GT Cut is, just say, you know what, this is your GT Cut 4. So we're rebuilding the GT Cut 4. We got time to do that. The CC ones, we're releasing these as quickly as we can. Or even to have them released next year. Apparently it's not till 2026. I don't know when it's going to happen. You can genuinely release you can release anything with her face on it right now and it will sell out. There is no other player in US sports that has the draw of Caitlin Clark as an individual. She might be the biggest star right now as far as like, I'm trying to think of like, Travis Kelce maybe just because he's dating Taylor Swift might be that biggest like star. But the fandom towards Caitlin Clark is nothing we've seen since Steph Curry. Like, yeah, sorry. Like, a Lionel Messi in certain countries, if something's released with his face, it might sell. Same with, like, Ronaldo. But as far as basketball goes, like, something with LeBron's face is not guaranteed to sell right now. Something with Steph Curry's face in 2024 is not guaranteed to sell. Right now, she is, I would think, in American sports, the single biggest draw. She's the biggest draw as an individual. Her sport's not the biggest draw, but as an individual person, I think she is the biggest draw right now. And Nike are really dropping the ball with that.